for questions. Ms. Maloy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Randall, thank you for being here today. Excuse me. I know you represent the Utah tourism industry, and the STARS Act is going to impact all of the states because we're talking about all the national parks. But could you just talk a little bit about what role national parks play in connecting visitors with the historical significance of America's founding and our history and our unique landscapes and places?
Of course, thank you, Congresswoman, for the question. In Utah specifically, in 1776, you mentioned this, but two Franciscan fathers friars, I should say, came into our state, Dominguez and Escalante, on an expedition. They were traveling from Santa Fe and explored through Utah, Colorado, and Arizona, and eventually returned back to New Mexico, not finding a clear path forward. It was September and October of that year that they did that. And honestly, the landscapes haven't changed much from the time that they were in our state, which is now known as Utah at the time. They experienced interactions with Native American communities, they experienced interactions with the landscapes, and those are the interactions, as you mentioned earlier, that we see as the opportunity to allow for all Americans and international visitors that are coming into our state to experience and help them understand the history of these landscapes and see that through the eyes of the beautiful landscapes we have, both in Utah and across the country.
Thank you. And on a related note, can you talk a little bit about how granting everyone access to the parks can help bring some of the underserved communities and people who are not traditionally in the parks into the celebration of America's birthday?
Of course. Many individuals and underserved communities don't have the opportunity to experience the outdoors. We know nationwide that there have been issues with depression and various other things, and we know in Utah specifically that getting outside, and in Utah, one of the things that we're doing to celebrate America 250 is Walk 250. Experiencing the outdoors is extremely healing, and so the opportunity of this allows for anyone of any walk of life to be able to come into any national park in our nation and experience an opportunity that is truly life-changing. We've had the opportunity to do that in Utah, and I think sometimes maybe we take it for granted, but so many other individuals that I meet in my role have never had that opportunity to even see a dark sky, and it's truly transformational.
Thank you. I agree, and I really hope people will take advantage of this opportunity, whether it's going to a historic site or going to a landscape park, to just find something new that they didn't know about the United States or didn't have the opportunity to appreciate before. And thank you for being here to testify. I don't have very much time left, so I just want to thank the other three of you for being here. I love history. I love reading history. I talk about John Quincy Adams whenever I do a night tour of the Capitol with constituents, and I really appreciate the work that all of you are doing to help preserve our history in this country and make it accessible to people who want to study it, or maybe even people who don't know they want to study it until they stumble across a monument and learn about the Rosies during World War II. Or something about Winston Churchill, who, while he's not an American, is responsible for a lot of the freedom in this world. And I love that we're celebrating his American connections and the debt that we owe Winston Churchill, who's a fascinating, kind of a complicated figure, multifaceted, and I think even studying that is helpful and instructive for us moving forward, that people in history have complicated lives and they can still go forward and do amazing things. And I hope as we're celebrating the 250th birthday of our country, we celebrate that about ourselves and other people around the world who are trying to make a difference. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for being involved, and I'm about out of time, so I will yield back.
Gentlelady yields.